What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VIII. Last time, we liberated Balam from the occupying forces of Galbadia, and today, we are off to Trabia, where some of the most important story-related events are going to happen, but first, we're making a couple of pit stops. First up, we are going to hit up Dalet, then we're going to head over to Delling City, the capital of Galbadia, and finally, we'll round things off going where Selphie asked us to go last time, her old home of the Trabia Garden. That is not what I meant to do. I am gonna have to get out and walk the rest of the way along the train tracks and the road because the garden wouldn't actually fit through this little valley here. So the reason that we are heading to Dalet is to see the Queen of Cards. If you remember way back before we started the Timber mission, we intentionally lost the Mini-Mog card to the Queen of Cards as part of her side quest. She was back in Balam Town, and after we lost Mini-Mog to her, she moved here to Dalet, so we're gonna stop over here, and we're gonna see what's new with her. Before I head to the pub where she's at, though, I just want to take a stroll over to the beach. This is where we landed Normandy style, and that wrecked scrap heap is what remains of that ex-ATM that we fought back in the Dalet mission. The Seed Field Exam. That big mechanical spider. All that remains is a smoldering pile of metal. So we're heading into the pub in Dalet, which I believe is this, is that the Shining Bomber? I couldn't make it out. We'll skip talking to the bartender. I think the bar owner is up on this floor, along with the Queen of Cards. So before we do anything, I'm gonna save because things could go a little wonky here. We got a little bit of triple triad coming up. But first, let's see what the Queen has to say. We want to ask her about her father, the artist. Her father paints a lot of the triple triad cards. So since we lost the Mini-Mog card to her, her artist father he just made a new Kyros card, which we can pick up from a guy in Delling City. She also wants, as part of her side quest, the Sacred card. I'm not going to lose that to her just yet. I will probably continue her side quest later. Right now, I'm just trying to either spread or abolish certain rules. Hopefully I abolish... Let's see. I would like to abolish random... same spread throughout the region. That's fine. Same is okay. Same's a fine rule set. Still got elemental... Oh, God. Elemental and random. I would really like random to be abolished. There are certain people you can talk to who are better for abolishing certain rule sets than others. Spreading same isn't too bad. As long as random doesn't spread, I'm okay with that. Probably not gonna be back to play cards in Dalet too much. By the way, I'm only playing this guy, the owner of the bar, because you get something, you get to see something cool if you beat him. And random elementals working out just fine for me. So when you play, in the elemental rule set, when you play a card on a tile with a corresponding element, you'll get +1 to all your stats. If the element does not correspond, you get -1. So since we beat him, he will show us to his secret room in the bar, which is actually the spot over here across the bridge, which you can pass under. You can see it from the street, and this is how you actually get over here to this room. And for beating him, he gives you a bunch of cards. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Generously give to those who beat you. So 5 geezers, red bats, bules, anacondars, cactars. Nothing really spectacular, just cool little rewards. I'm gonna play him again, though, because the other thing this guy has is the Siren card, which I might want for later. I might as well pick it up while I'm here. Just to save real quick, because I think he's still gonna be using the random rule set, and that could work out really poorly for me. So this is also a pretty good time to talk about card rules, since we skipped having the Queen of Cards explain it. The card rules can go pretty in-depth, especially when you get into region rules and abolishing and spreading and stuff. It's kind of what made me used to hate Triple Triad, because it's a really convoluted system once you get past the basics of, like, the first time you play with a normal, same rule set that, you know. So we've seen the basic rules and how the game works under that rule set. And when you win, you get to take one card. We know all that. As you branch out into the world, you encounter these new rule sets, stuff like elemental, random, closed, which is when they don't have their cards face up towards you. The open rule set is the opposite of that. It lets you see your opponent's hand. Random rules randomly select your cards for you instead of you getting to manually pick. Yeah, oh, I get 2 more. Righto. Right, okay. Lost my train of thought. There are some more complicated rule sets. Each region has their own rule set they like to play under. Balam used open rules, Dalet likes to use random and elemental. There are also trading rules. One is the default, which means the winner gets 1 card. There's also trade all, which means you take all of their cards. And then there's also stuff like a difference, which means you get a number of cards equal to the difference in your scores when you win. And direct, which means any cards on the board you control, you take. Now, on top of this, on top of the card rules, there are ways to abolish and spread a region's rules, like I did back there in the bar. This is where my understanding has always been a little bit fuzzy, so feel free to correct me if I get any of this information wrong. The game tracks which rule set you last played with. So the way I think abolishing rules works is, say the last place I played was Balam with the open rule set. I go to Dalet where random and elemental are the rule set. I play cards with someone, and because it's the first time I brought Balam's rules over, the other person asks if you want to combine the rules together. You agree, you start the game, but you don't accept the rules and you quit out, and you will randomly get one of 2 outcomes. Either 1, you'll spread your most recent rules, like I spread the same rule set, or 2, the regional rule will get abolished, which is kind of what I was hoping would happen. I would love to abolish either random or elemental. I think I can still do that later on. I don't know if anything actually impacts whether a rule spreads or a rule is abolished. I think it's just random. Generally, it's better to abolish bad rules like random than to have good rules like open spread. Actually, wait, did I spread open or same? I think I spread same. Shit, that's actually not that great. I have to go back and look at the video now. Uh-oh, I got all confused. I hope my understanding of that system is correct. Honestly, it's one of those things I hate about Triple Triad. The regional rules and the way abolishing and spreading works. Okay. Elemental rule has... oh, shit. Elemental spread. Well, elemental's not too bad. Like I said, the one that I really, really hate is random. The random one kills me. Closed I don't love. Okay. This is the dude, as you can see, who has Kyros, now that we've asked the Queen of Cards about her artist father. Now that new cards have been created. But remember, you have to lose Minimog to her first and then talk to her about her artist father before this guy down here in Delling City will play the Kyros card. Since I don't know what he has, this might be a little tricky, but I should be in a pretty good spot right here. There is nothing he can do about this anymore. Yeah. Yep. And 6-4, that's a victory, and I will be taking his Kyros card. And immediately, I'm gonna head over and do something we haven't done in probably 15 parts or so. I am going to turn that Kyros card, using card mod, into 3 accelerators. Let me check who has what GF. So you have Quetzalcoatl, Squall has Ifrit, and then Irvine, Siren. So those accelerators can be used to teach a Guardian Force an ability called Auto Haste, which is exactly what it sounds like. It lets you start off a fight with haste on. So we'll teach Quetzalcoatl, Ifrit, and Siren, and that way we can spread auto haste around to all of the party members, except Squall in this case, because Squall has all the strength percent bonuses, 20, 40, and 60. So Irvine and Zell will be able to start off every fight now hasted, and we're good to go. That's why I did all that legwork back like 15 episodes ago before we started the Timber mission, losing Minimog and starting the Queen of Cards quest, specifically for the Kyros card. There are a couple of other decent rewards you get for that side quest, but that's one of the better ones, one of the best. Auto haste is incredibly good. So now I have to navigate my way back out of the city, which sometimes I have a problem doing. Nah, I'm fine now. Once I'm on the main street here that leads back to the gas station, it's no problem. Sometimes I wind up going back to the parade square somehow, though. Whoops. Okay, so now that we have all the side quest stuff out of the way, and we've gotten all of our accelerators and taught our Guardian Forces auto haste, we can get on with progressing the plot. So we're gonna pilot the garden on over to this eastmost continent that we haven't really been to that much. We've been on the little island off the coast of it. That island is where the town of Balam is, and it's where Balam Garden was. But we haven't really seen too much of this continent yet. And to, I believe it's around the north? I'll double check the map once I'm on land. That's gonna be where Trabia was. Selphie wanted to revisit Trabia Garden because that's where she originally transferred to Balam from. And, okay, yeah, it's straight ahead. I think it's somewhere nestled in the mountains. And we weren't successful in stopping the missiles from hitting Trabia. We managed to save Balam, but it was, by the time we even thought of the plan to go into the missile base, it was too late for Trabia. Oh, God. This place was wrecked. Just totally ruined by the missiles. And yet you still get the cheerful overworld music playing in the background. Super inappropriate here. Ah, poor Selphie. Yeah, direct hit. That's an understatement from Zell. Ooh, that's an even worse view. So Selphie's gonna try to scale the fence and get inside, and maybe we'll find some survivors. Maybe it's not all bad. This is easily my favorite moment from Disc 2 coming up. It's also, as far as the plot goes, one of, if not the most significant section of the game. A lot is about to get revealed here. A great, great deal. It's also one of the more emotionally resonant moments of the game. Feel bad for Selphie, feel gut-wrenched about Trabia. At least a couple of people survived. At least there's that. Selphie's friend. Yeah, I'll play along. I've been looking after Selphie. She's been a great help. Aww. You big softy squall. Still hate you. Aw, come on now. Whatever. I'm trying to make him an okay person. Work with me, Selfie. Okay, well, while Selfie catches up with a friend, we are going to explore the wreckage of this town. That looks like Leon's jacket from RE4 sitting on that... it looks like a tombstone, I guess? And then there's some kind of rifle next to this one, and there's another jacket? What the... I don't know what this is. Up here, there's a copy of Timber Maniacs. Yeah, this looks like a cemetery. Unless it's just, like, coincidental that little shards of rubble are shaped like that. I don't know. Leon came through there. God damn, that's the Ganados village from the beginning of RE4. So somewhere around here. I don't know where. But we will just get an arbitrary trigger to progress the plot. Basically just searching out triggers at this point. Oh, this shit. I thought she would have something new to say. Whatever again. God, Squall reminds me of Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. For a second I thought that was, is it Zone or Watts? From back in Timber. Oh, this is kind of heart-wrenching to see. People left completely without their home. Like, that's the kind of imagery that gets me. Someone's diary. South. 5 steps from Trabia Gardens gargoyle statue. It's reading about some kind of buried treasure out here. I'm trying to think if there's a side quest related to that. I'll try to keep that in mind. I can't remember if that's anything that 5 paces from the gargoyle statue. But they're rebuilding. Even the music here is very, very somber. Which, yeah, appropriate. Unlike when we first got here, and that chipper overworld tune was blasting. There we go. God, all these people without even a roof over their heads. Aw. Teddy's a lot stronger than they think. That's cute. That's really cute. Like, I love this part of the game. Breaks my heart, but it's really terrific. Okay, so she's gonna talk to the kids, try to comfort everyone. We're gonna head over to the basketball court and wait for her. Aw, that's the last ball! Like, how sad is that? Like, everything has been taken from them. So many, like, real-world parallels you can make to this. Just makes it all the more touching, all the more heart-wrenching. Okay, so while we're waiting for Selfie, we're on standby till then. Okay. Doesn't seem like they've invaded. Like, what are they gonna invade? The rubble? I want to see Galbadian soldier come in here and threaten to put this place to the torch. I'm gonna burn the ashes of your... Oh, whoops. Yep, already did that. Bye. That was awkward. Ooh, everybody's pretty depressed at this point. Things are getting kinda heavy around here. Okay. Maybe the... Okay, there we go. Was just looking for the trigger to get Selfie to come over here. And yet, she seems like she's still pretty upbeat. That's nice. She hasn't, completely been taken over by all this heaviness. Oh, she wants revenge, okay. Renoa really wants to take the diplomatic approach. She's not looking forward to any more bloodshed. But I think we all know that's inevitable. There's no way this is getting resolved diplomatically. Ah, come on, Squall, don't do this. I'm trying to like you. I'm trying to give you a chance. Squall, come on. Here's Renoa to save the day and pry Squall out of his cold shell. Okay, now he's starting to make a little bit more sense. It's harsh, but he has a point. This is just one part of this that I don't like. I get left behind, I try to catch up. Like, that goes against a lot of what we've seen so far. Renoa is totally capable of handling herself, and yet she's kind of playing this weak little damsel role right now. Like, oh, everyone's so much stronger, I can't keep up. I just get lost and I try to catch up. Like, that's horseshit. I get being full of doubt, but nah. Whatever, it's one little detail. So that's very important, what he just said. He remembers growing up in an orphanage. Plenty of kids, all with no parents, around the end of the Sorceress War. This kind of vague event that we've alluded to before. And he remembers one kid, specifically, one girl who made him so happy. Selphie! Selphie and Irvine grew up in the same orphanage. So why doesn't Selphie seem to remember that? She's starting to remember a stone orphanage, an old house made of stone by the ocean. So Quistis remembers too, she was there too. Selphie, Irvine, and Quistis all grew up in the same orphanage. But Irvine is the only one out of them who remembers. Huh. The revelations are gonna keep rolling in from here. And Zell was there too. The whole gang. The whole orphanage crew. Zell, Irvine, Selphie, Quistis. And as we're gonna see, Cypher was there too. And there was one more. We recognize that kid. That's little Squall. Crying, looking for his sister, who he thinks abandoned him. Squall, Cypher, Zell, Quistis, Selphie, and Irvine all grew up in the same orphanage. None of them really seemed to have remembered it before Irvine brought it up. Irvine's the only one who has a clear memory of all this. Why is that? The reason why, it's about to be explained, but the reason why is something that for some reason a lot of people overlook, and if you overlook it, it creates a huge plot hole. But the explanation, contrived as it is pretty solid otherwise. It's a pretty big contrivance, but, you know. So Zell's parents, the Dinks back in Balam, adopted him. Makes sense, they were all orphans. There's Cypher. Crybaby Zell. The arch nemesis from childhood. He was an antagonistic little shit even when he was a kid. Everyone kind of is recalling this. but they had to be reminded, and it's not perfectly clear to all of them. Cypher was always Cypher, Zell was always crying and screaming. Squall doesn't remember Irvine. Selphie was always full of energy, Quistis was always bossy. You could see all of it. Yeah, Cypher was there too. So everyone was there except for Rinoa. And we've seen this scene a couple of times. Him out in the rain, waiting for his sister to come back to him. It's a sad little scene. Wonder who his sister was. Maybe we'll find out. Ooh, at least Squall acknowledges it. Sis L. Elan. That is Squall's sister. Okay. Or at least somebody he's been referring to as sis. So that is two of many, many revelations, but we still don't quite know why she's taken us back to Laguna's past. We know she wants to change the past, or change the future, or the present, whatever the case may be. We know she wants to manipulate time in some way, and that has a lot to do with why Sorceress Edea is going after her. She wants to go back in time for some reason. She wants to alter the course of history. Ooh, everyone's pretty bummed. This whole scene is huge, but pretty sad in a really important way. Probably the same with Cypher too. Okay, I'm just having a hard time parsing that sentence for some reason. Yeah, nobody ever mentioned growing up in an orphanage. Nobody here really remembers that. No one has any recollection of what happened here. And they're coming up with theories about why they might have forgotten their childhoods. But that doesn't really explain anything. There's gotta be a better reason. So Quistis came to the garden at the age of 10. And she was always trying to be the voice of reason between Squall and Cypher, trying to break up their fights. Squall and Cypher have been going at it since they were 5. So Squall always used to ignore him. Cypher wanted attention, and that always caused fights between them. Get a lot of really good background on characters in this too. It's not just strictly plot revelations. You learn so much about the characters here. Who they were and what their motivations are and what shaped them. I really like this scene a whole lot. It is pretty heavy-handed with just being pure exposition. But it's used well enough. Like, what you get out of it is more important than the fact that the storytelling technique is rough. It's one of those cases where, like, yeah, it could have been conveyed better, but it still pays off because you still do learn a lot. So that, the Guardian Force makes its own place in the brain. So if we keep relying on Guardian Forces, they're not going to be able to remember anything. But they don't think that Headmaster Sid would ever let them do something so dangerous as junction Guardian Forces and endanger their minds, which is pretty much what Irvine just said. Using the Guardian Forces for so long since however young they were when they started training to become seeds. They've been using Guardian Forces for that long, and that's had the effect of fogging their minds, of partially damaging their memories. Like I said, it's an amnesia trope, and it's contrived, but it explains why none of them remember this, except for Irvine, who only started using Guardian Forces recently. It almost seems like a drug, right? And even Selfie, who just told a story about when she was really young, she found a Guardian Force, so even she's been using Guardian Forces since she was young. And the matron of the orphanage, dressed in black, had long black hair. They all recognize the resemblance now. The matron's name is Adia Kramer, Sid Kramer's wife. So Sorceress Adia ran the orphanage. Oh, shit. This is just back-to-back-to-back-to-back bombshells. So that might be one of the most important details here, is this was Adia's orphanage that all of the seed crew, the orphanage crew, grew up in. When I was being tortured by Cypher, he wanted to know what seed was. Huh. Okay. We're starting to understand why he was asking those questions. This is a lot to digest if this is the first time you're hearing all this. This is exposition town. What Irvine says here never made a lot of sense to me. It seems like this whole speech is a little bit like he contradicts himself here. How he talks about how limited his options were and how there was only one real path for him to go down, and yet he talks about it not being fate, it's his own choice. He chose his own path, but then again, there weren't really many paths to start with. It seems like a contradiction. Either way, that's what he finds value in, that's what he finds motivates him. I wish for stronger motivation for Irvine, but that's fine. Shoot for a common goal. So, as if we didn't have reason enough to go after Adia, we're just kind of stacking on motivation here for everyone. And Squall's inviting Renoa to join them, even though Renoa was not a part of the original orphanage crew. Nice, cheery, uplifting ending to this sequence. Ah, in the snow. Gift from the fairies. It's weird. Gift from the heavens, a gift from the gods, gift from the fairies? It's weird. Yeah, let's go check out Adia's orphanage, but I think earlier someone said they didn't know where the orphanage was anymore. I guess Irvine probably still knows. Well, we're gonna go there, look for clues about everyone's childhood, Adia's house at the orphanage. I believe the orphanage is on the continent we were on last time, the continent of Centra. Not much remains of it. Fearless? Yeah. That's not really what Squall would call it. Yeah, he wishes we didn't have to fight either. So, that's gonna be it for Trabia, and that's gonna be it for this episode. Next time, we will head towards the orphanage. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.